Welcome to Happily Ever After, the podcast where we talk about life's big stories, from breakups and breakdowns to icky secrets and happy endings. It's the stuff that makes us human. I'm your host, Hannah Harvey. I'm a writer and a parenting blogger at mumsdays.com. I'd be really grateful if you could subscribe and leave a review because it basically means more people can find the podcast. And I also absolutely love hearing from you, so please do contact me through Instagram at mumsdays, MUMSDAYS, with any of your stories and any thoughts you might have on the episode or any questions. You can find all the details from this episode in the show notes. Hello and welcome to Happily Ever After. It's me, Hannah, and today my lovely chum's back.
Hi everybody, it's me.
It's Katie. Where have you been?
Oh, I've been doing some things, just killing some time.
I need to know everything
Right.
in the next 40 minutes.
I mean, it's been like quite a lot of weeks. That is a few weeks to cover.
I can tell you were last on episode 75.
Ooh.
However, I've only been doing them fortnightly this year, so that's like a really long time ago.
It does feel like a long time ago.
But thank you for coming back on, because today is going to be end of a season. I've now chunked everything into seasons. So this is the end of the season, the 2024 January to June, it's now July season, and I'm going to take a break for the summer and then come back in September when I'm publishing my book finally.
Yes, yeah, I'm so excited about this.
17th of September it's coming out, so drop me a message if you want to be the first person to purchase.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Thanks, Katie.
Take my money.
I'll have it all, thanks.
Yeah, great.
But do you know what else is quite important about today?
Yes.
Do you?
No, I don't. What's important about today? No, I don't.
The our podcast, which you ditched. No, you didn't.
I did a bit.
A little bit,
Yeah.
but you still love it.
I do still love it, yeah.
Good. It's 2 years old this week.
Oh, how nice. I didn't know that.
Whee!
As if this has been happening for 2 years.
I know. I feel a little bit like the last 2 years has only been one.
Yeah. Yeah, so do I.
But I also feel like the last 6 months has been an eternity.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this year has been very transformational.
Yeah, I agree.
Both of us.
Yeah.
From like the discussions we've been having, I'm like, oh, there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
Wood Dragon Year, baby.
Dragon year. That'll be it.
Fast, fiery, holy shit, hold on to the seat of,
Mm-hmm.
your pants. What's the saying?
I think it is hold on to the seat of your pants, but it doesn't make any sense, does it?
We'll go with that.
Okay.
So, yeah. And it's also a celebratory day for you.
Yes, it is.
Please tell me more.
So, today I have had my contraceptive coil removed.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Which is, like, normally the congratulations comes when you've done that to decide to have a baby, which is definitely not what I'm doing. But I haven't had, like, a natural period in about 15 years, and I've got no idea what my body is like, and I've never had, like, just natural hormones. I've always been chocked full of whatever they put in the stuff that makes us not pregnant. And I thought it was time to just return to my natural body, and I'm really looking forward to that.
You. And it was where it was meant to be.
My coil?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
I remember when I was getting mine removed and it was somewhere in my bowel.
I know. That's not good. Yeah.
Full-blown operation to get it removed.
Yeah, it was like actually a pretty easy process, and like considering the last time I had it done, it was like when I had one out and another one put in, it felt like really traumatic, and this felt like super easy. The nurse was really great. The whole process went pretty smooth, and I know that this is weird, but I'm excited to have a period again.
I'm excited for you to have a period. I really follow my cycle now, so I had my coil taken out before I had Nancy, who's nearly 6, and I've never been back on contraception since. So, touch. Oh no, I can't get pregnant, that's good. It's too much information. Don't tell anybody I said that. Nothing. Yeah. Okay. Back up. So yeah, I read Period Power just after splitting up with my ex-husband, and ever since I've read that, I've been really anti-contraception.
By Maisie Hill.
Yes.
Yeah. I've never read it because I don't get to engage with this part of being a woman where you get to follow your cycle, which is like really annoying to me. And I know that in like 6 months' time, I'm going to be like, oh, it's so horrible having a period. I hate it. But like, I just am looking forward to being able to think, well, I feel really grumpy today because I'm going to get my period in a couple of days, you know? Like, I'm sure I feel grumpy anyway. I just don't know why. So
yeah, it's been transformational following that process of like, oh, this week I'm ovulating. That's why I feel so wired and crazy. But the thing about Maisie's book is that you don't have to even have a womb to find this book helpful.
Really? I need to read it then.
So you could be a woman in a man's body and follow her process of the cycle, and you can use the moons as a different way of doing it.
Yeah, because I definitely still have a cycle. I know I do. I just feel like I can't really track it. But I guess like if you just
can have
the
a
same
synthetic version of a cycle where you go, right, it's full moon, so I'm going to embrace this kind of bit of my psyche, and when it's new moon, I'm going to rest. That kind of thing. So you don't necessarily have to have a cycle to follow a cycle.
Yes, that makes total sense. Yeah. But I feel like my body has its own cycle anyway that I need to tap into a little bit. And the other thing is, you know, the reason that we have contraception anyway is that so men don't have to put condoms on when they want to have sex with us, which is a crazy reason to stick loads of hormones in your body, isn't it? You know, so
there definitely needs to be something else because it's just a pile of shit. I don't like any of that whole synthetic thing of just, it changes everything. I definitely got to a point where I was like, I don't even want to have sex. So, you know.
Feels very liberating, actually.
Yeah. I'm excited for you to go back into that. But obviously, like, having a cycle is quite tricky.
Yeah.
And actually having the period is a moment for me of like, oh, thank fuck for that.
Yeah.
So that week of being on my period, I might be tired, but I feel better in myself because I'm like letting go. I know I need to rest. But I'm not as in my head as I was the week before it was coming.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I'd love to be able to understand that about myself and be a little bit more in tune with what's going on in my body, you know? And when there's no physical sign of that, it can be quite hard. Of course, now the challenge is for me to actually pay attention to it, but I think I will.
Yeah, it's just a little project you can work on over the next few months. Like if you can keep a track in a diary of like, even if it's just a couple of lines, that's what she says in the book. She's like, just note down your overall emotion today so that when you look back, you can be like, oh, I was feeling like that on that day and I was feeling like the same on that day, and see if there's a pattern.
Yeah.
Because it might take ages for your period to come back.
Yeah, it might. I don't know. She said today, like, there's no...
It could be next month.
Well, just like I'm unprotected against pregnancy from now. So like my period could come back now, in theory. I don't think that's how it works. I think your body does have to have time to get adjusted. But I think they say that because the hormones kind of like aren't doing their job from the second that you have it out.
Yeah. Hence I got pregnant like a week later with Nancy because there was a fertilized egg in my tubes.
Oh my god!
When they took the coil out, so by the time I came out of surgery, more or less, Nancy's like, "Oh,
I'm here.
There's nothing to stop me."
I love that.
It's like crazy. Like even just a week later, I wouldn't have her.
Yeah.
If the operation had been a week later.
Yeah, you wouldn't have got pregnant with her. Yeah. That's weird, isn't it?
Oh, a miracle. Okay, good. Congratulations.
Yes, so I'm really excited about that. Weird thing to be excited about, I think.
I don't think it is. I think it's a full embodiment of what your physical self can do. And listening to it and honouring it and being available for the lessons that may come.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there'll be some of those.
Lovely. So anything else been going on?
Are
you interested in talking about your love life?
Well, so Hannah did a solstice fire ceremony.
That's me, Hannah.
Yeah, Hannah, you know. On the solstice, and she did one at 4 a.m. and one at 7 p.m. and I went to the 7 p.m. one, and it was just absolutely magical.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I did. I loved it.
Aww.
Yeah, it was great. Like, I sometimes find myself like a little bit skeptical about these things, and I think
me
that's okay
too.
to say. Yeah.
On a daily basis.
Yeah, but I honestly think there's no harm in doing it, you know, and like to sit and be able to like just think about everything and connect to your own thoughts for that period of time and manifest things and just be given the space to do that. I think is like, it was really nice, like a little period of self-care.
Yeah.
So that was really delightful, and Hannah gave us homework to do ahead of the session, which I must admit I didn't really do.
Did you watch the video?
No, I don't think I even watched the video.
Oh.
Yeah, so
I'm
sorry
glad
about
you put
that.
loads of fucking time and effort into that.
Yeah. But I did know that the point of it was to decide what you were going to think about manifesting in the ceremony. And I was like, okay, I'm going to manifest me a husband. And then I had like a lot of thoughts about whether that's a waste of manifestation or not.
No, I did it.
Yeah, I know, and it is important to me to have somebody to share my life with, but like it also feels a bit like, you know, I could be manifesting anything. Loads of money and a fantastic job, and I suppose like
what's more important than love though?
Yeah, I know, you're right.
Feeling connected and like you found the person that you want to be in a little nest with.
Yeah, you're right. It's super important, it is, yeah. So I was like, okay.
You don't need those things. And have it, like, you've already got your beautiful home now. Your bedroom's looking gorgeous. You've been doing wonderful things here. So you don't need it.
No, I don't. But it would be nice to have it.
But my life is enriched because Dan is in it.
Yeah, totally. And that's what I'd like. Yeah.
And like just, it's things like I went to my cousin's wedding at the weekend and I was like, this room is really missing having a Dan in it. Not our Dan, my Dan.
Right, yeah. What do you
like,
mean?
To me, I was like, oh, this whole thing would be like really wonderful if he was here too.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like that as well. I just haven't met him yet, you know?
I just haven't met you yet.
Would it be a podcast episode if we got through it without you singing?
No.
Yeah,
I'm going to base every episode next season on a Michael Bublé song.
Well, that's a concept.
I believe it's a good one.
An interesting concept.
Yeah. So I do believe it's not a waste, and I do believe that you can be working on multiple things at the same time.
Yeah. And it's not, I don't know, there was part of me that felt like it was a bit anti-feminist and a bit like going against the fact that I feel like I should be absolutely happy on my own, but it's not at all. So I need to remember that it's okay to want that as well.
Yeah, and you're not wanting somebody so they can come and look after you and buy you everything and whisk you off your feet necessarily, although, you know, if you're there and you want to, that's okay too.
That's fine, yeah.
Like, you're completely self-sufficient. You've got your own house, you've got your flat, you've got Frank. Like, you're surrounded by the things that you love.
Yeah.
But it's perfectly acceptable to then be like, oh, I've got a little bit of space now for somebody else to come into, and I would like to have a special person to share life with. Yeah,
and I think I haven't thought about that really because I've been wanting to put it purposefully to the back of my mind for some time. So it was kind of quite nice to reconnect to that part of myself and to just do some thinking about who I want to be with.
Yeah.
And interesting as well, you know, because I haven't been thinking about it. I just got to see what came up.
And what did
come up? This is going to sound crazy, and I feel like a crazy person.
Yes!
I know.
It's the best news I've ever had.
I know. I was telling my friend about it, and she was like, she's very much like a person that wouldn't be into this kind of thing at all. You'd never see her at a solstice fire ceremony.
That's
and
a shame.
Yeah, I know, but she she looked at me like, oh, maybe this is okay. Maybe this is real. So now that I've told her that, I feel okay to mention it to other people, because she's a skeptic.
Okay,
so,
tell me.
So when you were like, there was like multiple parts of the manifestation, wasn't there? And in the one where you were like, imagine yourself in that situation, I was like, okay, who is he then? And a person came to me, a literal, actual person.
Oh my god, actual chills.
Yeah.
Please tell me it wasn't who I think it could be.
I don't know them yet. It was the person that I've never met. Like, I don't know who they are.
You saw them?
Yes, but I think I get this sense of like people's. I don't remember people's faces or what they look like necessarily. I remember their vibe, and it was more. It was that feeling. It was like the vibe, and some physical attributes as well. I know. So like, I was like, oh, that's him.
And how did you feel with the person?
I wasn't with them, which is weird. They were a step away. So, like, it was like I could see them, but I wasn't...
Not quite in reach.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
So they weren't with me, they were just there. Like, it was like they were across the other side of the room.
Love at first sight moment.
I mean, I don't know about that. It wouldn't be very me. But,
Why not? Oh my god, this will bring us nicely onto Bridgerton.
Yeah.
But, like, oh...
I know.
That's interesting that they were away from you.
Mm-hmm. It was like they didn't know I was there, but not because they were ignoring me, like just because they were in a room full of people, and so was I.
Oh my god, it's like literally life, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they are there, they exist, but they just don't know you're here yet.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not ignoring you.
No, it wasn't like a...
You weren't like, oh, that person over there and I love them and it's unrequited.
Yeah, it was just like, there's your person, but you're not with them.
And why are you not with them?
Because I need to... So this was the next part of your manifestation. You were like, okay, what do you need to do? Yeah, exactly. So I was like, okay, what do I need to do? Like, it was all... I was like, okay, I've imagined a person here. Like... That's quite exciting. And then when I got to the what do you need to do next bit, it was like, oh God, what do I need to do? Like, what's the solution to this? Where is he? And I don't really know what the answer to that is, but I kept coming back to this specific bar in Newcastle. So obviously I need to go there now. But
what bar is it?
So, can you remember I was telling you I'd been like walking to work past this bar every day, and I'd decided to myself one day, I was like, okay, I want to be with it's like quite a bougie bar.
Yes, I remember now.
I want to be with the kind of person who feels comfortable in that bar, who feels comfortable going for a little drink on a Friday after work in that bar. Because a lot of the men that I've been out with in the past would like avoid it because it's too like expensive and posh.
Yeah. They just
but it's
don't
my
feel
kind
deserving.
Of place. Yeah. And so I kept going back to that. So I wonder if he's there. But even when we were thinking about it at the fire ceremony, this is floating Hannah's mind.
I love the power of like the visual mind when you like give it a little bit of encouragement and a little bit of instruction. It goes, here you go.
I know. Well, and you know, part of me wanted to be like, don't be silly, Katie, you know, but I wasn't.
It makes sense though. You were like, I want to be able to go to somebody who's comfortable in this bar, so it makes sense that would keep coming up because it's on your list. Yeah,
and the other thing is, I've never been, so I know. So like, it's either I need to go there to figure out who this person is.
Yes.
Or maybe he's there, but that seems unlikely. Maybe. He might be. Who knows? So I need to go. Anyway.
Can I come?
Yeah.
Can we have a meeting? Like, I'll come and meet you after work sometime.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And we'll go there. Mm-hmm. And we'll sip cocktails.
Mm-hmm.
I shall have a mocktail.
Mm-hmm.
and we'll just take in the atmosphere.
Yeah, I feel like that's what I need to do, and then I'll know the kind of person that I'm looking for, you know. But I did see one, so that's quite exciting.
Oh, I'm absolutely in love with that.
Yeah, I know. So let's see what happens. And then actually, because when we were manifesting as well, like, part of me was like, well, you're not going to find him in that specific bar. So maybe the thing is, you need to go to the bar, figure out the significance of the bar, and then maybe it's time to, like, get yourself back out there. So that's the step after.
Ooh, that could be your meeting place for first dates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good.
If
Depending
they
on
don't
how I
want to
feel,
do it,
who knows?
you might walk in and be like,
exactly. I might walk through the door and be like, I don't even like this place, but, like, in my head, I've got an idea of what it's like, and so that's what I want, you know?
yeah. I mean, like, that's blowing my mind.
I know, I perhaps should have told you that before, but I thought it might be
No,
quite
this
good for
is
the
fabulous.
podcast.
I love it. Well, that's wonderful. And let's set a date for going there. And I can't wait to see what happens next.
Yeah, me too. Feels like I felt a bit stuck before, you know, and, like, now this has given me, even if none of it's true or real, like, it's given me a bit of this is what's going to happen next, you know?
I think the thing with manifesting is, which I put in the video, had you watched it, for me, it's two things. I do believe in, like, a spiritual, universal energy that moves around us and through us and helps us to become the best version of ourselves if we want to tap into it.
Mm-hmm.
I also believe that a lot of what's going on is because of us.
Yes.
And it's in our subconscious. So the act of sitting and imagining something, you know, if you're an athlete, they can't run all the time, right?
Yeah.
So they have to do some of the work just literally in their heads. Same for singing. You can't sing all the time. At some point you have to practice in your head. So if you visualize yourself doing the very best version of your thing, the brain can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
And then when you go out, you do, you know, you've still practiced and you do
and you feel like
the
you
performance.
can do it.
Yeah. So the same thing goes with life. And I also think by seeing something in your mind's eye, it then opens a bit of your psyche where it goes, right, let's get curious around how we do this.
Yeah.
Because if you were feeling stuck, now you're not stuck. That's the power of it. It doesn't matter if it's the universe or if it's just yourself getting out of your own way or even just being curious and looking for opportunities.
Yeah, and I feel like because I've come off the dating apps and everything, there was no next for me. You know, it's like there's no alternative really apart from just seeing what turns up. And now it doesn't feel like that. It feels like I've got some work to do on who this person actually is a little bit, you know, and it's given me the tools to do that. And then maybe I will go back on the apps, who knows. But if I do, I'll be in a much better place to do it because I'll know what I want.
100%.
Yeah.
Just having a list, you know, you can't get somewhere unless you know where it is you're trying to get to.
And the day after your ceremony, I found my original relationship ethics. So that's weird because I'd lost them completely.
I'm pretty sure we did that about a year ago as well.
Yeah, they were just in an old bag.
Holy fuck, how symbolic is that?
Yeah.
Oh my god. I can't find the love of my life. Oh, why? Because my relationship ethics are in an old bag.
Exactly.
But I was doing the exact same thing. So one of the things I've been processing is I moved house. And when I moved in, I have this incredibly gorgeous, lovely house. And I put a lot of work and money into, like, getting it how I want. And I moved in and I was absolutely, I don't even know what the word, it was like I was about to have a breakdown. And on one of the days I pretty much did. And I'm like, what on earth is wrong with me?
Yeah.
I'm finally moving on. I'm putting down roots in this lovely house. My kids love it. It's in the area that I want. I'm so lucky to have this. And I felt desperate, like really sad, but almost like numb sad. It was like depression, nothing. And it wasn't until I got to dance I finally had a breakdown.
Mm.
So there was like loads of work around this to unpack. And I basically discovered that I've got two parts of me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the maiden?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I
know I will.
Yeah. We'll link back to the show notes on that one.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a whole episode we did about grieving the maiden last year. And it was a little bit like trying to let her go.
Yeah.
So I have this maiden side of me that really wants to be looked after, really wants to be cared for. And I felt like I needed to let her go so that I could become a queen, like that queen energy archetype of this is me now, I'm in my new life, I've got my home, I've got my career, I've got my book, I'm fucking trying to do all these things, single mum, absolutely smashing it. Turns out you can't let the maiden go.
Yeah, not all the time. You can't be the queen all the time.
Well, I have discovered that there's me, as in just me, how I feel on a day-to-day basis. But my maiden vibe, this is work that I'm doing with Rachel Smithbone.
Yes, loved her.
So she was on an episode last year.
Licks her armpits.
Yes. She was amazing. I've decided when I had this breakdown, I was like, I'm going to have to speak to Rachel because I don't know what's going on. And it feels like there's something energetic, seriously going wrong here. I had that breakdown and then I spoke to her and we discovered that my maiden is actually kind of my queen as well. They're the same sort of being. And basically, in a past life, I felt, not a past life as in before now, like as in me before I am now, before all the work I've done, I felt safest when I was feeling a little bit trapped and contained. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be adored, I wanted to be looked after, and I wanted to feel like I didn't have as many options.
Yeah.
Because it made me feel safer. Mm-hmm. So once you take that away, I realised that I've moved into my house, but I was busy being like, right, I need to get everything going now. I need to make some money. I need to get this book out. Loads of work. But I wasn't being willing to look after that part of me that still exists.
Yeah.
So my old bag thing was all of my clothes. Yeah. So I'd done everybody else's stuff in the house except my own. I was like, I don't have time to look after my own things. So all of my clothes were in bin bags.
Oh, Han. That's no good.
So my maiden, who thinks she's like the Queen of Sheba, was busy being like, well, you can fuck off then. I'm not doing anything.
Because you weren't putting your clothes away like the Queen needs.
Yeah, the Queen is like, she's like J-Lo.
Yeah.
Big style. She wants proper looking after. And so I was doing all the other stuff, but I wasn't looking after, like, you know, how you would look after
any other human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a really helpful conversation that me and Rachel had around, like, what does it mean for me to actually look after myself? Mm-hmm. And it's not even like, it's something around the compassion thing of like, you need to be compassionate with yourself. Mm-hmm. But I was able to look at it from the point of view of that bit of me that needs to be looked after was like, that other bit of me thinks I'm a dick. Yeah. Thinks that I'm lazy, thinks that I'm entitled, but then it wants me to turn up and shine and be really good.
Yeah.
And to bring in all the money. So it wants to work me like a slave, but won't give me any of the things that I need to feel special so that I can go on and do good stuff.
Because if it was somebody else making you work like that, you wouldn't do it. If they weren't also looking after you, you know,
yeah.
would you?
No. So, yeah, there was this whole thing around, oh, right, I need to get my clothes out of the bin bag.
You absolutely do need to get your clothes out of a bin bag. Have you done it now?
Oh, yeah,
good.
Straight away.
Good.
So that was a huge shift of just being like, oh, that's what it means to actually look after myself. And to be like, yeah, the way I work, it's quite batchy. So I'll be like, I can do quite a lot in a short space of time. but then I need quite a lot of space to then make sure that I'm feeling replenished.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, routine is not my friend.
No, routine isn't your friend, which is okay. You just
Some
work
people love
different.
it. It's totally fine.
Mm.
I was watching. What was I watching? The one about the chef, the bear.
Yes.
Have you been catching up with that?
No, I haven't, but I've heard that it's definitely worth a watch for the eye candy. So
really,
yeah, everybody really fancies him. Are we talking about the same thing?
Okay, he's okay.
The chef.
Yeah, the chef. Well,
yeah, everybody
my favourite episode is about a side character.
Oh.
And she's like just lush and just wants routine in her life. She wants to show up, she wants to do a job, and she wants to get paid, and she wants to contribute. And I was like, oh, I totally love this. And it's how she ends up finding them. But yeah, that's not me.
no, and that's okay.
I think that's okay, isn't it?
Yeah. I know I'm a bit like, I do like a routine, but I find once I get into one, I'm like, okay, what's changing now?
Yeah, I need something new.
Exactly. I get bored very easily, you know.
Yeah. So it's a long way around of saying I get the whole your intentions being in an old bag.
Yeah.
And it's really significant. Like, we have to pay attention to where we're putting important things, and if they're just being shoved off to the side in a big pile, rather than actually looked after and honoured, it's going to play out in our lives.
Yeah, totally. And like, you know, I feel like I wasn't ready to write the relationship ethics when I wrote them, and so I think at the time I'll have just gone like, that doesn't matter actually. What I want doesn't matter, which is like a classic old Kaylee pattern. And so it won't have mattered where I put them or what they said, you know, but it actually does now. I'm ready to pay attention.
And have you gone back to sort of rewrite them?
I haven't redone them yet. I think I need to go send. Oh, I wasn't going to say the name of the place. I think I need to go to that bar first.
Why are you not saying the bar?
I don't know, in case, I don't know, somebody goes
somebody
there.
listens to this and fancies you and is like, great, I'm going to go hang out there from now on. Do you know what they say about dreams? You know, when you used to make a wish when you were a kid, and you, as in when you blow out, sorry, I'll start again. A bit scatterbrained today. When you blow your candles out when you're a kid on your cake, you make a wish, but you're not allowed to tell anyone.
Oh, yes. Otherwise the wish doesn't come true.
Yeah, well, that's a load of bullshit.
Yeah, it is,
You need to tell people, because otherwise they can't help you.
No, I do agree.
And that's part of it as well. It's like, oh, this thing's happening, and I'm looking for this, or, you know, it's like, tell people.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't feel you have to say it. Anyway, so yeah, that was my maiden thing with Rachel. I highly recommend working with her because she's wild.
Yeah, I loved her. I loved that podcast episode. It was really good.
It's just so it's all these like theoretical things that I understand from therapy. We've been able to show, like, I'm kinesthetic learner, so I need to learn through doing. So the work I'm doing with her is helping me solidify what I've learned in therapy by actually going into my mind and visualising it and doing the stuff.
Yeah, that's true. It's no good putting a giant book about compassion in front of you, is it?
It's like, I can't fucking read it. I just can't.
You need to do it. You're right. Yeah.
I mean, my therapist was not a fan when I told him what we'd done.
Really?
He was like, oh, but he's very, I should say he was on last week.
Yes.
He's a scientist, right?
Yeah.
So it's very different. I'm quite spiritual, and I believe in lots of things that you can't see, and lots of things that maybe there isn't so much evidence other than I physically lived it, and that's the evidence I need. Yeah, and I think his concern is if you have had PTSD, it could be complicated.
Yeah.
To then go and do stuff in the psyche.
Yes.
But I would say, in addition to, you know, if you're getting the therapy and you're getting the support, absolutely, it's wonderful. But every time you do yoga and you're breathing into your womb and asking for, like, Jaguar to come in, it's... These are all archetypes from within us and complicated and, yeah.
And sometimes if you're a creative person, you need that different language to explore that stuff, you know,
Yeah.
that isn't science. You
Getting
need to be
away
able
from
to
the
go,
3D.
Yeah, and be able to see things and feel things.
Yeah, definitely. Ooh. So we've also had a conversation with the knot in my neck and the wires that were around my jaw.
Yes.
Which has been cool.
I know.
And then most recently we ended up discovering that my book is like a plug in an enormous like industrial wall. It's almost it's like kind of steampunk. It's like this metal wall and there's like this plug which is my book, and I'm like wading through shit trying to get it out. And it's really tiring, and I feel like all the magic in me is being squashed down, but that as soon as I get that plug out, this flow is going to come out. It's not a massive hole, it's just enough for there to flow out this beautiful clean water, and then all around me it's going to be like it's like I become the lady of the lake, and I'm just surrounded by beautiful water and greenery and a forest, and all the animals want to come and like nourish themselves. And
your sea skirt.
I'm in my sea skirt.
Great. Love that.
Except it's like a lake.
Except it's a lake. I think it doesn't matter as long as it's water.
Yeah, there's something watery going on. So that was crazy. But yeah, I think the main message that I got from that is I need to take time to really take care of myself as I get towards the plug. Yeah. Because it's very tiring.
It's hard,
and there's a lot of like, you know, people are reading my book at the moment, and that's scary.
I've only reread the bit that I'd already read, which is annoying. And also, like, I can't remember I needed to be somewhere when I was last reading it, but I was like desperately trying to get through the bits to like, because I am really enjoying it. I just need to get through the rest of it. Or like make time to do it, you know.
Oh, well, don't worry, babe.
I know, but I really want to. So.
Oh, good. Well.
And the bit that I've read twice is really good.
Thanks, honey.
Just like the first couple of chapters is very good.
Oh, well, yeah, it's really scary, and that manifests in the front of my left hip. So all last week I was in a lot of pain, like in the front of that, and it was as soon as people got my book.
Really?
Yeah, I just got into this fear state of like, oh God.
That's a very vulnerable place to be, isn't it, you know? But that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, you just have to go within and be like, you're going to be scared.
Yeah, of course you are.
Because there's a lot in there. It's a lot of heart and soul, and like years have gone into this. So I look forward to talking to Rachel and the fear in my hip, and kind of hopefully calming it down and letting it know it's all going to be okay.
Good plan.
Cool. So the thing for me with the fire ceremony is it was meant, this is the other thing around the fear, it was meant to be a goodbye ceremony to Mum's Days. Yes. Mum's Days has just absolutely quit me.
What do you mean?
Like, I cannot get onto my emails.
Really?
I cannot do anything that involves that email address now. So basically my new domain, hannahharvey.uk, lives at GoDaddy. Yeah. Mum's Days controls GoDaddy. Oh. So I can't now move that domain to my new website because I need a verification code that lives within Mum's Days.
Ah. That's annoying.
So I've spent all week trying to be a coder and work out how to do this stuff with MX records and DNS records, and I have Googled everything you can possibly think of, and the gatekeeper of Mum's Days is my ex-husband.
I knew you were going to say that, yeah.
So I was busy being like, I've written it down here. This fed into 2 beliefs and then wrote 4 things down. Yes. When it comes to my career, I feel like I need my ex-husband's help and permission. it also feeds into this idea that I need to be available all the time and I need to be consistent, because I'm like, I haven't even got a website right now, never mind an email address. I've got nothing apart from my Instagram, which, let's face it, Instagram shows about 2 people my stuff.
Yeah.
I then also have this fear when I'm not online that I'm not being good enough because I'm not having a presence, being consistent, being available, and it feeds into that fear that I'm falling behind.
Yeah. And this all stems from, like, it makes sense that the technology's kind of like told you can't do it anymore, you know, because now's the time, and you were saying goodbye to it at the ceremony, but it would have been helpful if you could just access that for a little bit longer.
Just for a second, but in some ways I must have created this situation because they still had this internal belief. So I sat with it in meditation today and I was like, please help me with this. And I used some of Gabrielle Bernstein's like universe cards, had some of them, and I was like, right, whatever it says here, that's going to be the solution. I was like, right, pray, 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 pray. Took a card and it said, my outer experiences are a reflection of my internal condition.
Well, that's
And I was
right.
like, fuck you. And then I went, oh, I'm going to do some yoga on this. So I did some yoga and I was like, oh, how can I make my internal conditions better so that my external experience isn't this?
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, I was like, oh, it doesn't actually matter.
What doesn't?
It doesn't matter that I can't access my email. It doesn't matter that my website is offline.
No, it doesn't. No.
I'm going on holiday tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't need to be available for anybody.
No, you don't.
I don't need anybody's help with it because it's not a problem right now. And then when I come back, I've got a guy who's helping me with my website and I will go, here are all the login details.
Yeah.
Please solve this problem for me.
Yeah. And start completely fresh, you know, like it's tied to your past life because it is actually physically and literally tied to your past life, you know. So it makes sense that you're having this struggle now.
So yes, I was able to go. Actually, my actual experience right now today is I've just spent 45 minutes meditating and doing yoga. How fucking luxurious is that?
Yeah.
It was beautiful. All I have to do is go and sit with my friend Katie and have a chat, which is lovely. This is work.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Look at us working.
I know, that is nice, isn't it?
What else have I got here? Yeah, I was like, I've got time to meditate. That's reality. I've got a career that gives me freedom to hang out with you and do, you know, brings a lot of fulfillment. I've got a boyfriend who loves me.
Yeah.
We're going away on holiday with my children. And all I need to do now is teach a yoga class tonight. Again, that is work without me even being online. And I love it. And pack my bags.
I know. Yeah, and none of that stuff actually really matters right now. You're totally right. And like all of this sort of like making sure the brand's correct thing doesn't actually really fit with what you're doing, does it? Like what you're doing is a lot more spiritual than making sure the brand's correct.
Yeah, like it's gonna be fine, and it'll show up when I need it to be ready. So when I want people to pre-order the books and all that kind of stuff, it'll be ready.
Yeah, it will.
Today doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, totally. I agree.
So I've spent all week literally in a rabbit warren of trying to work out where, you know, words I don't care about, domain hosts and registrars and MX records.
I know.
How do I get my Gmail to work, or with which MX records? And I'm like, doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
So if you need to contact me, it's hannah.bryan@gmail.com.
That's how I contact her.
Which is like my pre-marriage email.
Yeah,
That's my maiden name. Obviously, it's not the name that I write with, but that is my pre-marriage name. So that's kind of symbolic in itself, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, that's it, babes. The highlights have been monumental, like the fire ceremony, the understanding work I've been doing with Rachel, finishing the book, the amount of support I had, like 5 times the amount of people offer to read the book than I was actually allowed to accept.
Really?
That's just
great.
Little things like that. I've launched a meditation, like a guided meditation free club that you can join. I've got freebies coming out, like loads of yoga classes, and there's loads going on to be grateful for. And this one little stumbling block where I was like, I will prove I could do this on my own. It's like, who am I proving it to?
Yeah, I know.
All I've done is lost a lot of hours and got really frustrated. Don't need to do it.
You don't need the website right now, you're right.
No.
Good.
Cool. Thanks, Katie.
I'm pleased to let you go.
Conclusion. I'm just saying I need to let you go. You've got a meeting.
Oh, I do? Okay.
But thank you so much for letting me come to your house and have this chat with you.
Thank you for having me. It's lovely to be back.
Yeah. Will you come back in the next season?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Good. Recording in August.
Very good. I'll be there.
Lush. Right. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
All right then, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time for another episode of Happily Ever After with me, Hannah Harvey. It would be wonderful if you could leave a review and subscribe. And of course, if you have a friend who might enjoy this episode, please do pass it on. For anything else, you can get in touch with me either through Instagram @mumsdays or my website mumsdays.com.